Hey, 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 what's going on, y'all? Welcome to Fire Damage Profits. It's your guy, Elijah. I am the Fire Damage King, and it's my beautiful partner, Jennifer Canado.
Hello, hello.
And today, we are going to be discussing how to get more offers out through price anchoring without offending the seller. Yup. I know I get a lot of people.
Good.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good one, because I know you hear it all the time too, Jennifer. I mean, I get a lot of people who reach out to me, Elijah. I saw you on the Closing Olympics. How are you making these offers without people hanging up on you? A lot of the other closers on the Closing Olympics, they have an innate gift and ability. I don't want to call it a gift. I'm saying they built a muscle up and techniques up to be able to make offers that may presume to be low without offending the seller, without getting hung up on, where the offers eventually get approved and they're closing more deals. And that's what we want you to be able to do after watching this today.
Yes, biggest things we tell our students is to make more offers. And we know that when you're first making calls or you're first delivering offers, the scariest part is you don't want to just give an offer to a seller, not really know how to deliver it, and end up getting hung up on because they are just offended at the offer that you gave them for their property. So today we're going to share kind of a step-by-step process on how you're going to be able to deliver offers in a way that won't be so offensive, and it will actually um, allow you to be more of a trusted advisor. So is for fire damage, wholesaling, this is all across the board. So make sure you guys are ready. You are not going to be able to stick with us the whole time. Come back, check it out. Make sure you guys have your notes and paper ready to take some notes.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like I said, we want to put you in a position better than how we met you. I just realized that there's certain things that you're going to learn on your journey. And the best part of learning from other people's experiences so that you don't have to make the same mistakes, right? So that's what this is about. We're really big on the each one, teach one. This is what it should feel like. So it's okay with you. And if it's okay with you guys and gals out there, let's get started. Okay? So before we get started here, I want to just give a little shout out to Jacob. I want to give a shout out to Aliza. I see you ladies out there. See you guys out there. Shabbat shalom, my guy. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this. So there's a couple things you want to do. All right. When you're making offers, all right, when you're talking to sellers, first and foremost, you got to get out your mind. All right. You got to get your mind because a lot of times you're already kind of talking to yourself, especially when you're first starting out. You're talking to yourself, all that negative self-talk is probably going to beat you down before you're literally selling yourself on why this next person is going to be like the last person who hung up on you, who screamed at you. And if you can't going into the next call, it's going to be very hard to make another offer because you're going to feel very timid. You're going to feel very scared. You're going to think that every single person is going to berate you and hang up on you. Just to understand that's not the case. Wipe it, stay clean every time you're on a new call. All right, new call. So that's first and foremost. Wipe, stay clean, positive mindset, knowing that, hey, this could be the new one, right? Woosah.
Yeah. One way to do that is just take a deep breath in and out between your calls so you have a fresh state of mind when you're making the next call because they are hard to go through at times.
Yes. So with that being said, and I know you guys are already doing your pre-call affirmation, so I already know that's already happening. So because you do your pre-call affirmation, you're already going into these calls with the right energy. All right. So let's get into now that you got somebody on the phone, you're talking with them. There's a couple of things you want to make sure you follow. That a little simple process. So the first thing you want to do, you want to make sure you are aware. You want to make sure you are aware of what some of the values are in the area. You don't want to just be in there blindly, like, I don't know, you tell me what the property's worth. I mean, eventually you get to that, but it's very important that you have some comps. Hey, what are the property top comps are? What are some lower comps there? So you want to educate yourself with some of the values using PropStream, using you can use Zillow, e-appraisal, tax values, but you want to make sure you have some sort of values so that you're going into this understanding you have to know some numbers so you know what to offer, right? So that's the very first part. I see some people just hop on the call, start talking to people, and then they're starting to look at numbers, which is cool. As you get more sophisticated and you're a better closer, sure, you can make phone calls while you're doing it. But as you pull up the property, you want to make sure you just have a couple comps that make sense, so you know what to reference to, right? So that's going to be the first and foremost. Understanding the comps in the air, be very clear. All right. So now that you got that, all right. So you got that covered. You know what the comps are. You're clear what they are. Now you're talking back and forth. You do what you're doing. You're building your rapport, identifying pain, the whole nine. One of the first things you're going to want to do, you're going to want to ask them, hey, what do you think the property's worth? Once it's all fixed up, it's beautified, what do you think the property's worth? The reason why you want to do that, it does a couple different things for you. First, it's going to let you know the level of sophistication are there. Are you dealing with somebody who's really knowledgeable? Like, yes, I know the dollar per square footage in this area is $222 a square foot. My cousin's a realtor. I'm a mortgage broker. You're dealing with somebody highly sophisticated. They are going to challenge you on numbers. All right. However, if it's somebody who doesn't know, which there's plenty of people, I'll say probably about 50 to 60% of people don't truly know the real investor values of a property. So when you hear things like, right down the road, he sold his property for 2.25, or, I've seen a lot of, cranes, a lot of developments going on. Cool. They have a loose idea of it, but they don't have the exact numbers. That's good, because now we can start shaping and influencing those numbers. All right. So next, after you determine if the level of sophistication based upon do they have any idea what the ARV is or not, so the next tip we want you to focus on is ask them what type of repairs your property needs. All right. What type of property, what do you need to do to fix it up? So usually it's going to be one or two things. Either one, they're going to know exactly what type of repairs it needs. They're going to say, this is what it needs for repairs, this is what it needs for fixing up. If you upgrade it, this is what it looks like. Once again, they're very in tune with the repairs, and they have real numbers as far as, yes, we $5,000 for crown molding and vaulting ceilings. It's going to be for this much for flooring and plaster. And you're dealing with a sophisticated person. If you're dealing with a sophisticated person, once again, it's going to be hard to shape their mind on it.
All right, so let's slow down a little bit because I know you're going through this real quick. When you're asking about the repairs, some of the people who are just getting started or who are looking to make these calls might not understand why this is so valuable when you're making the offer. I know a lot of our students, so many times they'll skip through this. Depending on the training you've had, the repairs is what's going to give you a lot more of the information you're going to need for once you are making the offer. And many of the times there's so many more repairs than what the seller will tell you. So getting really good at writing down different types of questions that you can ask in order to get that number right is really important. And I see Elijah doing it all the time. As you guys notice, he is in his element right now, going in and sharing all the tips that are going to help you guys, because this is all he does day and night, literally every day. So when it comes to the repairs, can you give 3 different ways that you can ask for what the repairs are, other than just what are the repairs that the property needs? What are 3 different ways that those who are watching can ask about the repairs if the seller's not, cooperating or giving them up front?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so a lot of sellers aren't going to be forthcoming. And remember, buyers are liars, sellers are storytellers. All right, so you have to kind of pull it out of them. So one technique I would recommend using is tell me about the big ticket items. How's the roof look? All right, how is the AC? How's the water heater? So now by you asking them, they have to answer for each one of these, and then you can start cracking them when they realize you're asking about stuff that they probably was hoping you was going to glaze over. So that's one way to find out, hey, what type of repairs there are. Then another thing you're able to do, a lot of times, where you can ask them, hey, have you done any upgrades to the property? A lot of times they say, no, the property doesn't need any repairs, which they might be right. The roof might not be leaking. The plumbing might be fixed. However, I can't sell for 2021 pricing when the property is looking like 1990. All right. So therefore, if you just ask what repairs and they say there's no repairs, they might be right, and that's not going to help you. And when you go see the house and time to negotiate, it's going to leave you stuck. So by asking, hey, what type of upgrades have you done since you bought the property? Oh, I did a couple upgrades. It's okay. It's fine. This is a technique I absolutely like using. Shout out to Jason. It's called the repair reimbursement credit technique. Repair reimbursement credit technique. All right. So let's go and share this here with you. Okay. The way it sounds is like this. Okay, Mrs. All right, Jenny. Let me ask you this question here. Okay.
Yep.
If we were able to, let's say I came over there and gave you, let's say, a $30,000 Home Depot card, tell me, what type of upgrades would you do? Where would you start first? Would you start in the kitchen, the bathroom? Where would you start first with if you had a $30,000 Home Depot credit card to upgrade the property?
I would update the cabinets. I would update the flooring. I would paint the living room area. Actually, I'd paint the whole inside and outside of the house.
And you see, now we went from it doesn't need much upgrades. Now I know flooring, I need kitchens. We talking about we can do the whole house now. So that's another way to kind of get them to lock in. Because now if they use that repair reimbursement credit and saying, yeah, I'll put 30,000, I'll start here, I'll spend it here, I'll spend it there. If they don't challenge you up front and say, hold on a second, my property doesn't need 30,000, only needs 10,000, only needs 12,000, whatnot. If they don't challenge you right when you lay that out, guess what? You're able to use that $30,000 credit in your negotiation later on when it's time to close time, because I'm going to do exactly what you told me to do. You said we should do the upgrades to the kitchen. You said the property needs to be completely paid in. If you're going to put $30,000, I'm going to put $30,000 into it, and I'm going to need that off the price. All right, so that's the third way to finding out what type of repairs a property are, and by you understanding what type of repair they are, and by them explaining what they look for, that is hands down is going to help you understand the sophistication of the seller, and it's going to allow you to close that much faster. So I gave you guys one of my personal techniques. I've easy over $30 million worth of real estate transaction with our repair reimbursement credit. So if that is good to you, if you guys enjoy that technique, I don't want to be giving out my techniques if you guys are snoozing on us here. So do me a favor, in the comment section, hit me with that fire emoji. The Fire Damage King wants that fire emoji. If I give you a fire jet that you're going to try tomorrow, you're gonna put in a motion tomorrow, hit the fire emoji. Just so I know you guys are vibing with me. Hit that in the comment section. Let me see those fire. Thank you, Trayvon. Thank you, sir. Like I said, throw that. Felicia, what's up, lady? Hit me with the fire emoji. Let me see those fire emojis so I know you guys are with me. I just don't want to be giving you guys out gems and then just going over people's head here, right? There we go. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Love. Appreciate that. Okay. So now we walked through those first couple steps, right?
I'm going to recap it for those of you that are watching. So the first thing is you want to understand the values or the comps in the area. If you don't have a PropStream account, you can get a free trial so you guys can check it out. And you actually can go to getreidata.com to get that free trial if you don't have it. And so that way you can pull up the property address and it'll give you right there and then it'll show you the values in the area, getreidata.com. So you have an approximate, estimate of what the properties are going for in the area. You're going to want to look at those. If you guys want us to do a video on how to do these comps, like how to figure out what the property values are, let us know in the chat or the comments below. And we'll work on that one. But once you understand those values, the next thing is going to be, which I'll put it up here. You understand the values. The next thing is going to be, you want to ask what they think the property is. Oh, yeah. You're going to ask them what they think the property is worth. And no.
Yeah, exactly. You want to ask them, all right, when you understand your values yourself, you want to ask them what they feel this property is worth, like you said. Go ahead.
And then you're going to ask, what are the repairs that the property needs? All right. And then I think that's where we're at. So once you understand the repairs, then now you're ready to move on. So what is it? We have like 5 more steps.
Right. So
tips.
So what's really important is to understand, like right around here is why I see a lot of, especially beginning investors. It's kind of nerve wracking. You're talking to people. You got hung up like 32 times. You finally getting this far along in the conversation, so your heart's pounding a little bit. Like, hey, I'm finally getting along. Let me try to get this deal. Oh, like you just throw out an offer, and you lose all credibility. You lose all leadership. And now the ball's in their court. No, sorry, too low. Click. Too low of an offer. Sorry, click. No, I never accept that number. I've done my share of them, right? However, you sophisticated investor. We talked last week about becoming a sophisticated investor. Even if you start off and you just now started in the game, you can still take strides and start practicing the way a sophisticated investor does. So what you're going to ask for after you dialed in those, like the 3 years, like said, hey, you're clear with your numbers. You ask them what they think the property is worth. You got the level of repairs in place. Understanding that you want to make sure you want to ask them if there's any pain. All right. So when I ask them if they're paying, you want to ask them, why are you thinking of selling? Why are you thinking of selling? Do you just hate the neighbors? Are you just looking at downsides? Why are you thinking of selling? If there's no pain, there's going to be no gain. All right, so there has to be some level of pain there. Then don't start talking numbers until you identify if there's some sort of pain. Why are you thinking of selling? I'm telling you, I promise you, it's weird, but if you watch the Close Olympics and if you watch the 100+ episodes I did, I use it to this day. It works. I don't know why it works so well. I don't know why it opens people up to talk about it, but it works. You simply say, why are you thinking of selling? Do you hate your neighbors over there? Ha, ha, ha. They're going to say, ha, 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 no, I love my neighbors. I love this neighborhood, but XYZ is the real reason why I'm selling. I don't know. With that little ha, 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 it allows for people to open up and say, blah. And that's what we want. We want to know, why are you wanting to sell? Are you getting a hip replacement where you can't get up the roof? Get up the second floor. Are you and your husband getting a divorce? Maybe you're downsizing. Maybe somebody passed away and this is too big of a house. Maybe you got job relocated. Maybe you're tired of the coronavirus and you get tired of your state shutting down and people wanting to leave. Whatever the reason is, before you start talking numbers, make sure you have a conversation about that. All right, because I see people just jump to the numbers, and it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard to really get a real number if there's no reason, if there's no motivation. There's no motivation to take a lower number. Okay, so now that you did that part, okay, so now that you identified that there's some pain there, there's some desire to sell, there's some reason to move. If they're like, I've been here for 30 years, I own a free and clear, me and my wife are never leaving. Well, say you don't want to spend that much time with them. You still want to get a number on the table because you never know, but you want to be more clear, okay? So after you did that, so assuming that there's some pain, assuming that they are having some iota of reason why they want to sell, this is the next piece, and this is almost just as crucial as asking about the pain. This is a big one I see that a lot of people overlook. So let's dial into this here. You need to ask them, before you give them your number, you need to ask them for their number. So let me ask you, if I was able to pay cash, take the property in as is condition, make it simple, really simple, what's the best number you would need for you to say yes today? What's the best number you would need for you to say yes today? All right, shout out to Charlie Hustle. Donut Call-a-thon. I saw you added that, so I'm borrowing that too. I'm always sprinkling more, always upping the closing techniques. So that's something you want to ask. And then there's a plethora of ways. How much cash would you need to make this still work for you? What's the bottom line price you would need? If I was able to pick a number, a magic number, what would be your magic number for this property to magically disappear? So there's a whole bunch of ways you can ask for it. Most important thing is ask for it. Don't give them your number first. If you give them your number first, you're losing all credibility. You're losing the ability for you to get them to engage with you, because they can easily just hang up if they don't like it, right? What do you think, Jenny? I mean, you heard it, and you've done it yourself. What's your thoughts?
So as far as making an offer,
yeah, like making an offer, you see You see some of our students, why do you think some people want to throw that offer out first before they ask for their number? They just throw up the offer to them.
So many times we are saying that they're nervous. They feel like that seller's going to get off the phone, and so I do think that having a step by step process, making sure that you get first the offer from the seller, it helps relieve a lot of that anxiety because now you're going to know where the seller's at. Worst case scenario, if they're not close to where you're at, you can have them explain to you why they came to that number. You can now talk about why, or where you're both at and how you're looking at the different numbers versus just expecting you, or versus just being scared to provide that offer yourself.
Right, and you've seen it hundreds of times, and so I think this is a big part of why you want to make sure you get comfortable with this process by having a process you go through, being clear of how this is in position. It frees you to know that, hey, if I just follow this process, I'm going to get my offer off on the table. I'm going to maintain leadership. I'm going to maintain an authority position so that they understand that I can deliver once I get my number. Okay. And I know you. I mean, I know you've seen it. I know you've seen it countless times. And it's funny that when you see it, I catch myself wanting to do it because you want to advance the ball, especially if somebody like, well, I don't know. You call me. What's your number? And so the ability to go back and forth and not just take one time they tell you, well, you give me your number. You called me. Your ability to go back and forth, and put the ball, lobby the ball back, like in tennis, lobby the ball back over to them. Like, well, yeah, by all means. Well, if I could give you $1 million for the property, would that work for you? Sure, I will work with you. Well, obviously, I can't give you $1 million, but between $1 million and $1, where do you think you need to be so you can say yes to me? I mean, you heard me say some of those before, and so I think that's just a key piece here. All right, so now that you guys understand, the next process here is to ask their number. So now once you get their number, now you get a chance to see, are they off their rocker? Are they close? Did they offer less than you thought that was going to happen? Because I had plenty of times, I had sellers ask for way less than I was even offer. So that's why you want to do this process. You want to do it this way and give yourself that competitive advantage so that you're able to understand, hey, if I go first, I lose. It's like kind of like in negotiation. He who talks first usually loses. When everybody goes silent, he who gives the offer first usually loses. All right. And when I say lose, it's still, you still want to make it a win-win. But I'm saying you're not going to get the best price you possibly could for the deal. Okay. So now that you did that, we laid those on the table. So now you want to ask yourself, all right, what do we do next? What you do next, you just follow a simple process. So they just gave you your number. Now you want to start asking them about, hey, well, you want to start throwing your comps out there. Hey, I saw 5432 East Main Street. You saying you want $150,000 for your property, and here's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. You say you're going to put $30,000 worth of upgrade into. There's a property here that's brand new, it's fixed up. The property looks beautiful. And it's about 2,000. I mean, it's about 200 square feet more than yours, and it's sold for 150,000. So I wouldn't be able to give you 150,000 when properties in this neighborhood sell for 150,000. That's fixed up and are bigger than yours. Does that make sense to you, Mr. Seller? That's key. You want to walk them through that process. You want to lay out your comps. You want to let them know the numbers. Because now, what do we do when we do this, right? What do you think, Jenny? Would you explain to them when we're doing this? What are we doing for the seller? What are we actually doing? It's one of our 3 E's,
Educating. So we talked about empathizing, educating, and empowering sellers. So when you're going into especially a fire damage house, but any type of motivation, when you're reaching out to sellers, you want to be talking with people who need to sell, not who want to sell. Those are best left for realtors. There's lots of them. They know how to serve their clients and they can list it in the market. When we're talking to sellers who need to sell, they don't want to make the repairs on the property. They don't want to deal with all the headaches. when we're talking to them, it's very important that we educate them on what we're about to do. There's already such a bad kind of name out there for wholesalers. And one of the reasons is because when sellers don't understand their options, when they don't understand why we're taking the property at such a discounted rate, then they're left with, this sour feeling, this like feeling that they got, beat into a price. But when we really look at all the numbers, in order for a wholesaler to provide the services that they are providing, we're solving problems, we're able to take the property in as is condition, and we're able to, sell it or hold it or for, flip them ourselves. But there's so many costs associated, which is one of the reasons why I created an evaluation calculator where I help all my students break down all of the retail expenses, all of the rehab and repair costs in a way that makes it easy to provide offers so that we can explain to the sellers what are the costs associated with if they were going to rehab and repair their property, so that they know what their walkaway cash number would be, and so that we can meet them at an offer around that same price. So now they're going to get a lower offer than if they were to sell retail, but they understand all the costs associated with it. And that's what we do. We're actually going to educate them, give them a breakdown of all the numbers, so that way they understand why we're just giving them a 50-60% ARV offer.
And you said that's spectacular. And so that's exactly how so by you first, like I said, after you get their number, you want to provide comps, because by you providing comps, you're kind of like you almost think of yourself as like an attorney and you're building your case, right? So this is my evidence. All right, so here's my evidence. This comp here, this comp here. Do you see this? Are you familiar with this street and this street? Okay, so now they know, like, oh crap, he knows my area, he knows the square footage, he gave me some comps. So these comps are maybe an expectation of what the values are going to be, because I want to make sure they understand. I know what I'm doing. I want to make sure they understand that we're only going to compare apples with apples, even though they're going to try to slide in, apple and a banana in on us. All right. So after you do that, what we did, we laid out the comps. The next part is what Jenny just laid out for you guys, is to educate them. Now you have to educate them so that they do not get super offended when you give your final number. You got to walk them through the numbers. Like, listen, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And these are what the numbers. If I buy, you buy. These are what the numbers are. And so it's very important that you walk them through the numbers. All right. So if you guys take time to walk them through the numbers, which I'm going to walk you guys through a little bit of the numbers. All right. So you want to walk them through the numbers. And if you guys are walking through the numbers, I want you to put in the chat box, in the comments. All right. I want you to put in the comments. I want you to put a number one. If you walk them through your numbers, if you show them how you are going to get to your numbers, put one in the comment section. I want to come back and see who actually walks through numbers with their sellers, because this is a crucial part. All right. If you just think once in a while you get a laydown, maybe one every 100 deals. All right. That somebody's like, yeah, I'll take whatever you give me. All right, cool. That I can count on one hand as many times that have ever happened to me. All right. So put one in the comment box if you walk your sellers through your offers. All right, put one in the comment box. All right, I want to see that. Put number one. I want to see who's doing it, who's not. All right, let's see about that. All right.
Trevor, Trevon, and AJ.
Nice. Okay. All right, so you guys are doing it. Good. I like it. Okay. So what you want to do, you want to walk them through. All right. So, Mr. Seller, it's very important that we get agreement on what the price is. So, we're comparing apples and apples together. So, I know he thought his property is 150. After you see this comp here, and look at the square footage, and look at the repairs you need to do. Great. Now, you know what? It's probably not 150. It's probably about 120. Is that sound fair? It's very important that you guys get some sort of agreement on what the property will be worth once it's all fixed up. Okay, so now that you got that locked up and what's going to be fixed up, you guys got the agreement, then you have to walk them through the numbers. Okay, so you said, so once it's fixed, fully fixed up, is beautiful. You and I both know the property is worth $120,000. Well, once you take out 6% realtor commissions, 3.5% for closing costs, you got some retail expenses of 7% that you probably have to account for. Then you still got to you said $30,000 worth of upgrades. once you do that repair reimbursement credit, once I stop at Home Depot, I got to put that same 30,000 into it. So when you aggregate all these factors, all right, and you reduce that out of your 120,000, how much would you walk away with if you did this yourself, Mr. Seller? Oh, so you'd only walk away with what, about 82,000? Okay, well, if you walk away with 82,000, that means I would only walk away with 82,000.
Mhm.
Obviously, I want you to get you the most that you could possibly get for that number, but I just want you to see where I'm coming from. By you doing that right there, you see, I haven't gave out my number yet, but I'm walking them off the ledge of that crazy number they're at, and I'm walking them, showing how do I get to these numbers. Let them know when all the dust settles, it doesn't matter what you sell it for. All that matters is how much you walk away with, right, Mr. Seller?
And you'd be surprised how many sellers don't know these numbers. So they haven't walked through the actual, all the numbers. And so by you walking them through without making them feel dumb or making them feel like they don't know what they're doing, by you walking them through like, hey, I'm just going to share some of these, just make sure that we're on the same page, getting them to agree to each number one by one, the retail, the commissions, the closing costs, the repair numbers, the time, the holding costs for how long it's going to take them to repair. When you walk them through that, now they're mentally saying that, yeah, it's going to cost this much. So when you give them an offer that's close to what they're going to be walking away with a little haircut, they can give you a little haircut on that. Now you're way closer. And many times those are the numbers we need to be at anyways.
Yep. I mean, and Jenny's saying it right there for you guys and girls out there. So understanding once you get that number, once you let them know, hey, this is what the bottom line walkaway number was. I can't do that number because I'm not doing this for philanthropy, because then there's no profit there for me. Because once I fix it up and I do the repairs and I pay the closing cost commission, I'm at this number too. So I got to at least make about what, 10 to 15% on my money. So now you're showing them how I got to my number. So that 10 to 15%, 20%. All right, great. So then once you reduce off 18,000, now we're looking at a number where I'm going to be at close to about 60, 70,000. All right. And so that is how you want to let them know, hey, this is how I got to my number, 60, 70,000. I know you asked for 120, but this is where I'm going to be at to make these numbers take into account for these factors. And if you don't want to wait, if you don't want to guess, if you don't want to play real estate roulette, let's go with the guaranteed cash, because sometimes it's better to go with the bird in hand versus chasing two birds in a bush you may never catch. Okay, so that is how you want to walk them through your numbers. You go through this process so that you're getting their numbers, you're getting their values, you're getting the clarity of the repairs, you're showing some comps, and then you walk them through the numbers and educate them so you can make your final offer.
Yep.
Okay.
It's important that you guys know this, because remember, doesn't matter how many calls you make, doesn't matter how many leads you get. What matters is how many offers, and the quality of those offers, so you can start getting more deals closed. I'm going to go ahead and recap this for those of you that are watching. Number one, understand the values and comps in your area. You can use get REI data for that if you want to get a PropStream account if you don't have one already. Number two, ask what do you think that the property is worth, so that they can tell you what they think the property is worth, the sellers. Number three, ask what are the repairs that the property needs. And Elijah gave you a few tips to be able to ask that question. And number four, ask them, why are they thinking of selling? And last but not least, number five, make sure you mention the lower comps in the area, and that you walk them through all of the repairs, all of the costs before you deliver an offer, so that they understand where you're at, what the comps are, as well as what are all the retail expenses, all the expenses that are associated with the property, so you can then deliver an offer by price anchoring without offending the seller, being a trusted advisor, educating them of their options and what is going on, why you're giving them such a low offer. But yeah, that's pretty much our whole training on how to price anchor without offending the sellers. Anything else you want to leave them with, Elijah?
Yeah, so one little quick technique I would like to give you guys before we wrap up here. So you guys, some of you guys are asking, okay, but what if they don't give me a number? What if they just don't give me a number? And after you walk them through all that, a good technique you can do, and shout out to Chris Bruce. All right, this is a technique I saw him do, and I absolutely used it, applied it, and works. You simply let them know, like, all right, Mr. Smith, I know you think your house is worth $150,000. But I'm sure you get a lot of wholesalers, these newbies calling you, making these lowball offers to you, offering you like $50,000 to $60,000 for your property. You would never accept that, would you? And then they say, oh, hell no, I'll never accept that property. Or sometimes like, well, maybe they offer you even lower than that. So now so what you do, if they say, hell no, I'll never accept that, you simply say, you know what, well, of course, I wouldn't offer that. That's what those newbies who barely know what they're doing. But understand the property is 150,000 and those lowball offer 50, 60,000 number don't work. Where would you need to be between that? Where would you need to be between that number? All right. And so that is how you want to be able to ask that, get that number locked in. Last other technique I'll give to you guys, and then we got to wrap up here. If they really don't know the values, they're really not sure about giving you a number, you ask them, hey, well, it looks like you're current on your taxes, right? Sure, yeah, I'm current on my taxes. Well, your taxes look like $1,300 a month. $1,300 a year. Great. Well, it looks like the tax value says the property is worth about $58,000. Does that sound right to you? Well, yeah, that's what the tax value says. So if I can get you close to that number, is that what you're looking for? So you see, I'm not giving you the number. I'm anchoring the tax value and letting the tax value say that's the number we're going to go for. Does that sound right to you? If he says yes, all right, and then I close countless deals with this technique. Then sometimes it's going to go the other way where they say, hell no, I'm not going to accept that $58,000 number. And then you say, of course you're not going to accept that number. You and I both know tax values are always lower than market value. Understanding the tax value is at $58,000, where would you need to be above that number to make this work for you? All right, so these are two techniques that you're able to price anchor the seller without offending them and get numbers, get more offers approved. Because at the end of the day, making calls are cute, making dials are cute, making offers, that's where the real deal happens. Because offers lead to contracts lead to money in the bank account, all right? So like I said, execution.
I'm like coming to you from the Closer Olympics. Every time you do this, I'm going to have to share them.
Let me see.
Proud.
Let them know what's happening. Let them know what's happening here, right? You guys see it yourself. You know, the Closer Olympics.
Make sure you guys check out the Closer Olympics. We have some exciting things coming soon. So check out the Closer Olympics replay if you haven't already watched it, so you guys can watch all these top closers. I think we have 12 of the top closers in the country sharing their techniques live. You guys can watch that just by going to closerolympics.com and watching that replay. And if you're really serious about your sales skills, investing in the bundle where you can get the breakdown step by step on what these closers are doing and these techniques that they've developed over time. So this is fun to be on the side, just watching you share these tips. For those of you that are watching, if you guys want to learn how to get fire damage deals, if you guys want more access to this type of training on how to deliver better offers, on how to be a trusted advisor in your market, in any market, especially competitive ones, make sure you guys hashtag Get Fire Deals, hashtag Get Fire Deals, and we will send you some of our trainings. We have a 30-minute training on how to find these fire damage deals, and we give you some of how to approach them. We have a lot of these trainings available for you guys, so send us a message or just hashtag Get Fire Deals in the comments below. We will make sure we send those to you. Thanks for spending the time with us. Anything you want to say?
Yes, like I said, I mean, Jennifer hit on the head. You guys want to learn more techniques and strategies? Closer Olympics, absolutely nothing like that has ever been done before. Go to closerolympics.com. Definitely want to get that so your boy get busy. You're number 2 closer in the country, as Jenny showed. But all 12 closers, you're going to learn something. I still go back and watch it, and I'm pulling gems I even overlooked the first 9 times I watched it, right? So that's something you want to be able to do. But like I said, yes, you guys, we teach you a lot of fire damage knowledge. But as you see, you gain a lot. Jennifer is when it comes to systems and process and strategies, she's remarkable with it. When it comes to closing and creative deal structuring, I have additional knowledge I'm able to share. We just feel it's our obligation. It takes 17 years of knowledge and experience that I've gathered, 6 years Jennifer knowledge that she's gathered, and we want to make sure we constantly pour into you guys. So if you guys want to learn more about how to close fire damage deals, how to make better offers, like I said, you put hashtag Get Fire Deals or go to Fire Damage Profits on Facebook. Be a part of the community. Let's bless you. We want to put people in a position to win. All right, so that's what we're really passionate about. Jennifer, thank you for making this so easy for us. Thank you for making these for everybody to learn with us. We appreciate you Take your time locking it with us. Look
Let
forward to
us know
seeing
what other kind of videos you want us to watch. This was actually requested, so I really like when you guys reach out and let us know what type of videos you guys want us to do on here. So you can keep doing that. I think the next one might be on how to comp because we didn't really cover that this time. So now you guys know how to price anchor. Start using these tools. Let us know how they work, and make sure you guys hashtag Get Fired Deals. Also, share this with a friend. Share this in your favorite group that you know who will benefit from this.
So, as we like to say, each one teach one,
Each one
each
reach
one
one.
reach one. Go out of your way
Graduate
today.
today and be a
Be a
blessing to
blessing to
someone.
someone, y'all. Salute.
Bye.
Bye.